Hi, welcome to Abigail's Bookshelf. Today, we're going to be talking about the nominations for the Hugos, specifically in the novella category, because I could not be bothered to read any of the novels. Enjoy! Here is my criteria. Here is how I am scoring these books. This is not at all the standards by which the Hugo judges itself. This is how I would vote on it if I was given the power to pick. I am going off of four kind of categories: world building, prose, character, and finally, the most important and scientific category, did I fuck with it? All of those categories I have ranked out of 5 points. So the total a book can get is 20 points. Here are the nominees. Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz, Cinder House by Freya Marsk, Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar, What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher, and finally, The Summer War by Naomi Novik. Those are our nominees. 6 novellas. You understand my scoring, so let's just jump straight on into it. Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite is the third book on the nominees list. Synopsis is Dorothy Gentleman, who is a middle-aged amateur sleuth, wakes up in the body of a killer. Or does she? And she must solve the mystery of the death that she has found herself waking up in the middle of before her memory is erased. Okay, interesting. It's sci-fi luxury spaceship where people's memories are stored into hard drives and they could be re-uploaded into new bodies, so they're never really dying and they're immortal. And I know you're thinking, you just killed the stakes of the mystery, and you're kind of right. She tries to save it, but it's a very hard thing to save. Okay. Another thing that was hard was me being able to enjoy this when I read the Melissa and Pallady series by Malka Older. It's really, really hard to read fantasy, sci-fi, mystery novella when somebody's already done it and done it perfectly. Hey, I'm the judge, and that's what I have to say. So I also want to preface this. This is another one I read a while ago. As I was writing down my thoughts, I was thinking to myself, are you confusing this book with The Spare Man by Mary Robinette Kowal? And the answer was probably. But that's not going to change the fact that I didn't really like this book. I didn't really like Spare Man either, so. Category number 1, world building. It wasn't bad. I don't remember a ton of it, but I do remember having a lot of really important questions about how reproduction works. And I believe that is touched on in a future novella, but I'm not reading that shit. So do with that what you will. The premise of people being stored as memory and then being re-uploaded into new bodies, I think that's a really interesting take on immortality and the immutability of the self. Like, you can only upload to a certain point. So if you get uploaded prior to something happening, like that's like a different self. It's like variance, right? It's so interesting to me. But I had more questions than I had answers. So this could have been slightly a too big topic for a novella. Prose, I listened to the audiobook. So my memory is tainted by the extremely annoying voice acting. So it was probably okay. Here is our passage from Murder by Memory. My hands, I might as well start thinking them as mine since nobody else was using them, itched to get around a pair of knitting needles. Better to count stitches and rows and cable crosses than to dwell on what I'd lost, or rather, what I'd kept and what Celia had lost. So the prose is like not bad. In this particular passage though, she's like trivializing what is supposed to be a really big part of this character's backstory and her identity. And it just comes off as like very flippant, I guess. Like there's a difference between an avoidant character who has some kind of wound that they're refusing to talk about and one who's like, I would rather knit than think of my dead ex-girlfriend. Like it was just weird. And that kind of leads us into character, right? So next category is character. I liked the idea of an older main character, so kind of like Miss Marple in Space vibes. But again, I think that she was like very flippant with some aspects of this character. I think Some of the other characters were kind of annoying. I do remember being very annoyed that the main character was supposed to be, I think, like in her 50s. And by the way, she like gets put into the body of a much younger person. So I'm actually, now that I've said that, I'm really even more confused about this. The main character kept talking about how like old and decrepit she was, and she was like 50. So nothing went right for me in this novella. Did I like it? No. No. I remember that the solution to the mystery was very confusing. Couldn't explain it to you. And it's like, it's a novella. I should be able to explain it to you. I couldn't. It was a mess. I was not a fan of this at all. Here's my final score. Murder by Memory. World building, I'm giving it a 2. Prose, a 3. Character, a 3. And enjoyment, a 2. So it's tied with Automatic Noodle now for second with 10 out of 20 points. Next up, another one that I read a while ago, so bear that in mind if I get details confused. The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar. If you have ever been on Book Talk in your life, you probably are familiar with this name. El Motar wrote the Cellulosa Timer with Max Gladstone. So if you're familiar with that name, that's why. Obviously, I'm going to read this. I love Time War. I'm reading this book. Synopsis of this book: Esther and Isabel are inseparable sisters who tend to a magic river, which divides their mortal realm from the land of fairy. When one sister rejects the proposal of an enterprising creep, the sisters learn more about the magic they sing than they ever thought possible. Derogatory. I really enjoyed this one. I did read it probably the longest ago though, so my memory is a little bit sketchy, but I do remember enjoying it, and that counts for something to me. World building, it was pretty good. I liked the music aspect of the magic, as well as there's a grammar aspect to the magic as well. I think maybe we could have like picked one. For the sake of novella, we could have maybe just picked one of those things, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was interesting, it was inventive. I don't normally love fairy tales, as I've said before, but I really remember being very immersed in this one. Prose, it was beautiful. Magic is partly worked by grammar, which I think is kind of like a really interesting thing that no one, at least no one that I read, has ever done before, because fairies have such a um they're known for like being tricksters with words and like using their words to ensnare mortals. So I think it's really interesting that no one has ever thought to do grammar magic before, or at least I, like I said, I've never read it before, so I thought that was really interesting. So the prose, it's got to come from the grammar magic. But that is the nature of grammar. It is always tense, like an instrument, aching for release, longing to transform present into past, into future, is into was, into will. Girl, save some for the rest of us. That's all I'm saying, okay? And like I said, music is also an element of the magic. The girls sing and use their voices to kind of control the magic. So here's, I'm cheating again because it's good. I'm giving you a second, a second prose example. Most music is the result of some intimacy with an instrument. One wraps one's mouth around a whistle and pours one's breath into it. One all but lays one's cheek against a violin, and skin to skin is holy drummer's kiss. But a harp is played most like a lover. You learn to lean its body against your breast, find those places of deepest, stiffest tension with your hands, and finger them into quivering release. Hey girl, what? That's crazy. I'm being pedantic here, so I think like there is some of that that's a little bit clunky, like the ones over and over again. I usually don't like using one anyway, but so points, a little couple of points off for that, but overall really good prose. Really good prose. Awesome. Next character. I really enjoyed the sister dynamic. I love books about sisters, and I feel like it's rarely done well, but I liked this one. I think this was done well. Each sister was very engaging and interesting. She had her own story, and so both of them kind of got to be the main characters. Did I fuck with it? Yeah. Yeah, I fucked with it. Fortunately, I did. I did fuck with it. Ratings for The River Has Roots world building, I gave it a 5. Prose, I gave it a 5. Okay, I lied to you about taking points off. I didn't take points off. I took off decimal points, as you can't see. Character, I give it a 4, and enjoyment, I give it a 4. So 17 out of 20, just underneath Cinderhouse now. We still have 2 more to go. All I can say is I hope whatever secret spice she's putting in Swornsolder, she puts in that Asterian book, because girl, it's like some people hate when writers make up songs. I hate when they make up fairy tales, okay? I hate it. Unfortunately, Naomi Novik said, eat crow, bitch.